It's okay if you don't know how to move on. Start with something easier, like not going back. Sometimes you just need to be a bit selfish. Put yourself first and think about what is best for you. Learn to see people for what they are, not what you want them to be. Love a friend, remembering that he can become an enemy. And hate an enemy, remembering that he can become a friend. Never discuss money with people who have much more or much less than you. Save your children's tears so they can shed them on your grave. You can be friends with people for years, and it could take years to realize they were never your friends. All endings are also beginnings. We just don't know it at the time. Life may knock you down, but remember, you don't lose by falling. You lose by staying down. You may be the only person left who believes in you, but it's enough. Smile a lot. It costs nothing and is beyond price. Buy not what you need, but what is necessary. In a loved one, either correct the vices or endure them. If you fix it, your partner will be better. And if you endure it, you will be better yourself. Remember that a successful marriage depends on two things. 1, find the right person. And 2, be the right person. Do not laugh at old age. You are coming closer to it. Live as you can, if you cannot live as you want. What you yourself will do for your parents, expect the same from your children. Don't use time or words carelessly. Neither can be retrieved. Lead a moderate and sober life if you wish to be independent. No matter how much you want, but the more you have, the more people will envy you. Let the person speak freely if you want to hear the truth. We have 2 lives. And the second begins when we realize we only have one. Your life isn't yours if you constantly care about what others think. A man without a vision for his future always returns to his past. You can make all the mistakes you want. Just don't make the same one twice. Until you become comfortable with being alone, you will never know if you're with someone out of love or out of loneliness. People don't decide their future, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. The greatest challenge in life is discovering who you are. The second greatest is being happy with what you find. You think you know someone, but mostly you just know what you want to know. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. If nothing else, some people just teach you how not to be. We are the average of the people we spend time with. Surround yourself with good people to be a good person. Don't expect to see a change if you don't make one. People will walk in and out of your life, and those you least expect will become past remembrances of a temporary time you once thought was permanent. You can't make anyone love you, and you can't force yourself to love anyone else. Don't burn your opportunities for temporary comfort. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. Believe half of what you see, and don't believe anything you hear. Never expect someone to catch you when you fall, even if you have caught many from falling. The point of the argument is not to defeat each other, but to understand each other. If it scares you, it might be a good thing to try. Develop a willingness to be disliked. This will grant you the freedom to do what needs to be done, even if it's unpopular. Be brave enough to say what you want to say, not what people want to hear. If someone's absence brings you peace, you won't lose anything. Your value is not determined by someone else's inability to see your worth. There are no bad emotions, only bad reactions to them. You'll have to learn how to channel your negative emotions in a constructive way. Your enemies will often tell you the truth because it hurts, and your friends will often lie because it doesn't. He who flatters a man is his enemy. He who tells him of his faults is his maker. Roads were made for journeys, not destinations. Your life is what your thoughts make it. If they spit at you behind your back, it means you're ahead of them. A healthy man wants 1,000 things. A sick man only wants one. To assail one's own wickedness, and not assail that of others. One doing this may be said to approach to the right path. Happiness is when you are understood. Great happiness is when you are loved. Real happiness is when you love. Sometimes we see a lot, but do not notice the main thing. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. The man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. Respect yourself, and others will respect you. If you hate a person, that means they defeated you. Forget injuries. Never forget kindness. The one who offends you takes away your negative energy. and gives you his positive energy. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Worry not that no one knows you. Seek to be worth knowing. Don't change yourself just to make someone happy, unless that someone is you. The longer you live in the past, the less future you have to enjoy. Don't worry about those who talk behind your back. They're behind you for a reason. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. The wise are not perplexed. The benevolent are not worried. And the brave are not afraid. We often overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate what is possible in 5. Your past or childhood may be messy, but it's a great force in your future. If it's out of your hands, it deserves freedom from your mind too. Loneliness is the price you pay when you start to improve yourself. Don't take people for granted. You never know when they could be gone. You never know how much they mean to you until they're gone. When someone shows you their true colors, don't try and paint a different picture. Don't be afraid to start over again. This time you are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. The more responsibility you take, the more you empower yourself to actually do something about that pain. Your friends and family do not always know what is best for you. If you want to feel motivated to do something, take the smallest action towards doing it. Forgiving doesn't make the person who hurt you feel better. It makes you feel better. Accept things as they are. Life isn't about living in the past or living for the future. It's about living in the now. Learn to deal with people for who they are, not who you want to be. No matter how good you are, if you are in the wrong place, you are worthless. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. People who play roles will eventually forget their lines. Pay attention. You are always responsible for how you act, no matter how you feel. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. When you blame someone else for your problems, you're giving them power over you. You're allowing them to define and dictate your happiness and well-being. People start hating you when they cannot control you. Forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before you learned it. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you. Growth happens when you start doing things that you're not qualified to do. Leave when a promise turns into a sorry. You don't find your purpose somewhere else. You create your purpose exactly where you are, and you bear meaning to it. It's never too late to do the things you've always wanted to do. Don't let naysayers discourage you because they may be projecting their own insecurities. Be smart enough to ask for advice, but be wise enough to know who to seek it from. Never make someone a priority who only makes you an option. Whoever fights can lose. Whoever doesn't fight has already lost.